Hello, bro.
The gent.
Oui, oui.
All right, so we'll start with the first one, the first journal. So I call it trading journal one or one. You can call it one, whatever. So this is just performance process, call it. So this is the template, ne? I'll also show you some examples which I did. So first one you write here, the week which will be journaling. So I tend to journal on a week-to-week basis, meaning starting from Monday to Friday. Okay. And then
Okay.
the first thing, focused question, pre pre-watch trade, and then answers on your right. Then these are the questions which will be answering every time. So the first thing, it's a date. Let's say you analyze and then you see a setup which is based on your trading plan, and then you want to enter that setup. First thing, you have to record these dates. First one, ideal trading state. You rate yourself from 1 to 10. How are you feeling? Are you in a good trading space? Are you not busy? Are you in your trading environment? Are you in your trading office or space? What about your mindset? Are you in a good trading state? So I recommend you have at least 5 plus. Anything less than 5. And here you have to be honest with yourself. This is one of the most important things when you're journaling. You have to be honest with yourself. I know that people lie to themselves every time. You say that you are in a good, like a good state of mind because you just want to enter a trade. Even though you know that you are not in a good state of mind, maybe you are having family problems, or maybe you are busy that day, but then you see a setup, but then you are busy. So you have to be honest with yourself. If you are busy, bro, it's best to say your ideal trading state is like 2, hence you don't have to trade that day. Understand? So the key thing here
Yeah.
is to always be honest with yourself. And then trading session, whether you are trading the NY session, London session, or Sydney, you're right here. And then name of market or asset. So let's say you were analyzing GBP that day. You see that, oh, okay, it's GBP. For your case, since you are now trading GBP, so I want to see only GBP here, nothing else. And then overall momentum, whether that day you saw it was bullish or bearish, because you want to trade with the trend. And then news, this is one thing you have to always check, especially when you're trading prop firms. You always have to check when are news happening. So if there are news around 3:30, just like today we have CPI, and then you enter a trade at 12 now, at 12:09, you have to write here 3:30, there's high impact news, CPI. So that when the news event approaches, you go to your chart and then you make sure that the risk is there. You make sure that everything is there. It's either you choose to close your trade or make sure that you reduce your risk as the news approaches. And then
Quick question. So when
sorry.
you're checking the news, so I want to ask, when you're checking the news,
Mm.
do you only focus on the news that affect the currency pairs that you trading or
Yeah. Just focus on the news that affects your currency pair.
okay.
So these are the setups which we taught you so far. You are on this one. I think, yeah, this one. The uptrend support and downtrend resistance on this one. So I want to see among these three, obvious for you now, you'll be focusing on this one. So I don't want to see any other setup which you didn't teach you or any other strategy I don't want to see some dragons, what, here, some fair value gaps. Focus on these ones which you taught you. And then
Okay.
confluences, you need at least 3 to enter a trade amongst these ones, whether it was a 4 hour bearish or bullish momentum, the 1 hour downtrend or uptrend, the 50. Okay, this one I didn't teach you yet. And then support level or resistance level and the candlestick confirmation. Whether it was a bullish, you saw the bullish candlestick, bearish candlestick, doji, the inside bar, things such as that. And then execution and then the type. Here you'll enter whether it was a buy or sell, or it was a sell limit or a buy limit. Yeah?
Yeah.
and then the risk to reward. I don't want to see anything like 1 to 1. I want to see anything plus 2. 1 S2, 2 plus. 1 S2, 3.
Okay.
And then trade experience, this obviously. Okay, you see the thing which I told you, beware of fear of leaving money. So this it will be based on your experience. Ne? So as you learn like more about yourself, your fears, you will be reminding yourself, journals everywhere. This thing, leaving money on the table, just like I said, it was one of the most annoying thing from my side. And then scaling in. Okay, this one I don't think we haven't taught you about scaling in. Let's forget it for now. So here, don't write anything. Don't scale in for now. And then risk management, your stop loss between 1 to 2. You said you are going for 1, so I only want to see 1 here. And then your risk manual. Did you manually check your risk like on your MT5 or your trade locker? Did you go there after entering a trade? Did you check like is it 1% now? Okay. And then daily loss
Mm.
limit, just like we agreed, 2% per day. We are willing to lose 2%. So when you are busy trading here, journaling, you have to, it's either you put under or above, but then you'll understand when I show you examples of these answers here as you put in answers. You can understand what I mean. And then here, it's when you are now in a trade here. During a winning trade, you now journal your emotions here. During a winning trade and during a losing trade. So let's say you enter a trade and then you are now winning. You are now 2% up. Your risk to reward is what? 1:5. You are now 2% up. You are left with 3%. You have to fill this table when you are now in a winning trade. You ask yourself, what did I say? The key thing here is to be honest with yourself. How do you feel? Okay, you are in a winning trade. How do you feel that you are now 2% up? Are you anxious? Are you tempted to cut losses short? Are you afraid? Are you overexcited? Do you have euphoria? You have to write your feeling. Or are you just normal? But then it will take you a lot of time to start writing normal, yeah? And then have I truly accepted the risk of this trade? Yes or no? Am I afraid that anything can happen? Just like I always told you, bro. In the market, anything can happen. The market can just start to push up. Random can just go against you, it can just retrace anywhere. Anything can happen. So if you know that, are you afraid that anything can happen? Okay. Am I tempted to cut profit short? Or were you greedy? Now aiming for a 1:20. Instead of closing your trade, you now want the market to give you 1:20. So in most cases, in terms of greed, in terms of greed, I've realized that people tend to be greedy when they are now like their equity is down, when they are now let's say you started with a 10K account and then your equity is now at 8K, meaning you lost what, 2K. That's when you start to be greedy. Instead of you looking at risk to reward of 1:2, which you know that they are possible, you start to aim for 1:5 because you now want to cover all the losses which you took plus more profit. You get my point? That's when you start to be
Yeah.
greedy. So people are mostly greedy when their balance is below where they started. So that's when you start to aim for unrealistic returns like 1:20, 1:10, because you want to cover the losses and make some profit so that you can quickly pass your account. So that's where greed will come into play. And then cutting profit short. And then after feeling all this, what is the most logical thing to do at this point? So you're in a winning trade. You are now 2% up. Ne? Your risk to reward was 1:5. What is the most logical thing to do at this point? You look at your chart and then you do a logical thing, not based on emotion, but then based on what you see in the market. Is the most logical thing to do to put your stop loss to break even or to trail stop or to just let the market play out because you don't see anything there. You don't see the market reversing. So here you'll answer based on what you see on the market. Okay. Let's say you are in a losing trade. The market, you enter the trade and the trade is now going against you. Your risk is 1% and you are already down 0.5%. You ask yourself, how do you feel? Again, are you afraid? Do you feel fearful? Do you feel like you can enter another trade, or do you feel like you want to increase your stop loss? Eh, Have you truly accepted your risk? If you did truly accept the risk when you entered that trade, there's nothing to be afraid of. So have you truly accepted the risk? If the answer here is no, then you'll have problems. Are you afraid that anything can happen? Same questions. Are you tempted to remove or increase your stop loss? So you are in a losing trade. Are you tempted to remove your stop loss or to increase it? So you have to be feeling these things as the market, as during the trade, so that you can make what? Logical decisions rather than emotional ones. So what is the most logical thing to do at this point? So in some cases, you will see that, okay, you are in a losing trade. You see that the overall momentum has changed now against you. So the logical thing to do now is to cut your losses short at this point. Not that you are being afraid. It's just that it's the most logical thing to do. You have analyzed the market, not from a financial state, but then from like what you see in the market. And then
Okay.
exits. Yeah. Mm. So it's either the market does what? How will I know when to get out? It's either I get out when the market hits your take profit, your stop loss, or trail stop, or a manual close. In the manual close happens when you see that the market has changed the overall momentum in this case. Not like you are just closing based on emotions. And then the last one, post trade. After the trade, after you hit your TP or you hit your stop loss or whatever, now you're no longer in the trade. You have to answer this, the four trading fears. So the first one, fear of being wrong. At any point, was I subjective to? It's a yes or no question. Were you subjective to fear of being wrong? It's either yes or no. Fear of missing out. Did you enter a trade based on your strategy, or were you just afraid to missing out and then you just entered aggressively? Yes or no? Fear of leaving money on the table, fear of losing money. And then did I do all that needed to be done based on my plan? Yes or no? So if it's a no here, you have a problem. Okay, you get this one.
Okay. Yeah, I do.
Okay, let me show you an example. Journal 1, week 2. Okay. So this is Journal 1, week 2. So this was 2023, I think. This is a mistake. It was for 2023. Yeah, this journal. Okay. Start here. So the date here, it was on 16 January 2023. This is a mistake. It's not 2022, I think. It was 2023. So here, ideal trading state. You want anything like +5. So from me, I judge it was 7 from my side. Name of market or asset. It was GBP, JPY. Was it a long or short? So you'll see that as I go on, bro, like okay, yeah, the one which I just showed you didn't have a long or short because I've improved it. Just like I'll keep on like improving my journals as we go on. So this long or short, it's now on journal 2, which we'll talk about after this one. So but then yeah, I still had it. So it was a long position, meaning I bought here. And then the risk here was 1%. And then overall momentum, bullish. And then there were news around what? Around 5. Okay. And then the
So
setup.
a quick
Yeah.
question. So let's say you started your trade at you say the news was around 5. You started your trade at about 2 o'clock.
Mhm.
So when did you check the news at 5 o'clock or did you check at 2 o'clock the news?
Wait, sorry, can you ask again? You said I said what?
So you said the news was around 5 o'clock. So
Yeah.
that's when you started trading around 5 o'clock or
No, no, let's say now I just checked that there are high impact news at 5 o'clock. I think I entered
Oh,
this trade before 5 o'clock. So I
oh,
just
yeah, it's
wanted to
okay.
be aware that there are news at 5 o'clock, meaning on my phone, I'll put an alarm around 5 o'clock or around 10 to 5
Hmm.
so that I can check the market and prepare myself for the high impact news.
Oh,
So I'm
okay,
still
okay,
at the trade at this point.
okay.
Yeah. So the setup was an uptrend support. So it was an uptrend with a support and then a signal. In this case, I was still using signal to cover what the candlesticks signal. I was talking about candlesticks.
Not signals.
Now, not signal. The ones now it was candlestick. By signal, I was talking about the signal confirmation, like candlestick signal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then yeah, I was still using go or no go. So it was a go, meaning I entered this trade. Ne? The risk to reward was a 1s to 6, and then it was an uptrend, same thing. You see, I have improved this journal from 2020. The one which I showed you, it's the recent one which I'm currently using. This one was an old one. Yeah, I think most of the, you see, just like here, down here, most of the things I was not like using them. And then in terms of risk, 1%, did I manually check on MT4? Yes. And then daily loss. So my daily loss was 2%, meaning 2K, $2,000. So it was under. So you don't want anything above. By above, I mean I've already hit 2% loss. So I can't enter above. Uh, just like exit here. At this point I was having a lot of exits. Just like I said, this channel was for 2022, 2023, so it's an old one. But then I just want to show you like how you'll be journaling. So in terms of the 4 trading fears, this is what you'll be doing. Fear of being wrong, no. Missing out, no. Leaving money on the table, no. And then fear of losing money. So you'll be journaling here. And then this, the second, okay, the same day it was another position. Yeah, it was another position the same day. This was the second setup, I think. Okay. What time do we have now? We have right. Let me show you the second journal so that we can be comparing this one with the second journal because it makes sense when I'm comparing this one with the second journal. So okay, let me show you journal number 2. So this is where you have to do screenshots, like you'll be having actual like pictures and everything. So this is the second journal, né? The same week, say journal 2, I call it 102. The first one I call it 101. So this is the first one, 101, and then this is the second one, 102. So on this one, some of the things are the same, just like you have to put the name of the asset, whether it was USDT or GPJPY, you put the date, and then here, top-down analysis uh based on what you how you analyze. So I want to see the daily candlestick, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. So you'll put the pictures here, and then trade management. This is when you are now in a like when you are now you've entered the trade, and then how did you manage the trade, and then the result, and then P&L, and then trading error. Okay. So this is the second journal,
What trading errors?
like the mistakes which you think you have made on that trade. Now
Oh, okay.
let me open. You understand, like as I show you like everything all at once. So now I'm just
Oh,
introducing. So okay, this is trade number 2, ne?
yeah.
This is trading journal 2. Let me compare it with this one, trading journal 1. It's the same thing. Date 16/01/22. Date 16/01/2022, ne? So this is
Yeah.
journal 2, journal 1. So you'll be doing this simultaneously. Ne? On this one, let's say ideal training state, it was 7, okay? Name of asset, GBP JPY. We go here.
Uh,
Name of asset, GBP JPY, ne? So on this one, on trade number 2, that's when you include your setup. Ne? Here we said what? We said we are going for an uptrend support and a uptrend support and signal, meaning candlestick. Ne? This is the uptrend support and signal I'm talking about. You see, uptrend, the support, and the candlestick, which I'm talking about. You get it?
Yeah, I do.
And then, just like I said here, analysis, top-down analysis. This is the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, all the way to what? To the, oh, sorry, this is the daily. This is the daily. I can see 1 day here, daily. And then 1 hour. Okay, the order is bad here. And then the 4-hour. Should have started with daily up here, 4-hour, and then the 1 hour. But you get it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so this is the daily, 4-hour, 1 hour, and then 4-hour. And then the setup, it was what? An uptrend with the support and then the candlestick. Let me go to journal 1. It was a 1:6. So this was like a 1:6 raised to God here. And then the risk was 1%. And then what happened? Meaning this trade, the exit was a stop loss, meaning the trade went against me. Let me see on the result here. Trading plan. The recent one, I've removed all of these because you put it on your journal 1. So back then I used to write it here on journal 2 also. Just like
Mm.
bullish and everything. It's the same thing on journal 1. And then the result here, the trade didn't go to my plan. It hit what? My stop loss. You ask what is trading error. So if you look at this chart here, this was not I should have waited and entered near our uptrend here and then use this support here instead of this one. So I should have waited here. Hence, that's why I wrote here too aggressive and not at a high probability area. So this is what you write on your trading area.
Okay.
Yeah. So on your P&L, you write how much you lost. In this case, I lost 1%. Just like I said here, we're risking what? 1%. It's the same day, ne? 16/01/2022. So I entered another trade, which is here, 16/01/22. I think it was the same setup, but then now I entered at the lower area. It was still GBP, JPY, GBP, JPY. So this is the top-down analysis, the daily. Okay, 4-hour and 1 hour. It has to be like that. But then in this case, this is the 4-hour, this is the daily, and then this is the what? 1 hour. And then we enter the trade, and then what happened? Based on journal 1, yeah, it was still an uptrend. The risk reward was 1:3.29. 1:3.29. We're risking 1%. Yes, okay. Remember, I took a loss, right? And my
Yeah.
daily loss limit is what? -2. So we're still under.
7.
Meaning this is my last trade now, based on my plan. So we're still under subjective position management. So this is when I'm now in a trade. Okay, let's see how the trade plays out. So here we're now in a trade, yeah. I think it went against me. It was going against me, and then I decided to close it because it was like I could see it's not respecting the support. Hence, manual close. Yeah. So how do I feel that I'm expecting a winning trade? Okay, normal. Have I truly accepted the risk? Yes. Am I afraid that anything can happen? No. What is the most logical thing to do at this point? At this point, do nothing when price breaks or approaches my resistance. No, 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 no. At this point, do nothing, right? When? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Second question, when will I begin to reduce risk or take profit? When price breaks or approaches my resistance. So I was talking about this resistance, the purple one, you see.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so I was saying, I think I entered here And then I was saying if price breaks my resistance or approaches it in an aggressive way, I'll close it. Hence, that's why I decided to close at this point. And then after closing, this happened. I closed and I took a negative 781 loss, but then price pushed up. And then on my trading era, this is what I said. Do not manage your trades aggressively or impulsively. Wait for the 1 hour or 1 hour candlestick to close. You remember that thing I told you on risk management?
Yeah, I do.
When I say that, do you remember what did I say? I say that you must wait for the 1 hour candlestick to close and then to react while the candlestick is open. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah, this is where that thing came about. Because at this point, you see what I did there? I made a mistake. This was the 1 hour candlestick. It was still active. I decided to close here. My entry
So
was here.
yeah, so yes, you were in a 1 hour time frame,
Yeah,
or
this is the 1 hour time frame. You can check here. Let me show you. Uh, yeah, this is 1H here. You see here?
yeah, I see it's 1 hour.
Yeah, this is 1 hour time
Also,
frame.
so the candle was still playing out.
The candle was still open. Yeah, it was not closed yet. It was still open, this red candlestick. So instead of
Yeah.
me waiting for the candle, so this was before I developed that rule for managing. So for you to manage, you must first wait for the 1 hour candlestick to close. That's when you can make what? Good decisions. So it was before that rule. So the candlestick was still open here, fluctuating, and I was now in a negative loss here around 700. Just like I said, it was around here, but the candlestick was still open. Hence, I decided to do what? To close, just like I said here. And then after closing, look what happened. This is still the 1 hour time frame. This one, the same setup as this one.
Yeah.
This is the candlestick which I went. I went out on which candlestick? This one, the red one. But then it didn't hit my TP. You see, the TP was here, not TP,
Yeah.
man. XL. So
Stop
it
loss.
closed
Yeah.
here, went all the way down, and then it reversed, and then it closed above what? My support. This was just the week, but then the candlestick closed what? Above my support. So, but then me, I was already out. I think I went out somewhere here while the candlestick was open. Hence, I took this loss. So after closing, the market went what? In my favor, but then I was already out. Hence, that's why I wrote this trading error here. I wrote this lesson. In fact, it was not yet a trading error because I didn't know of it yet. That's why I wrote none, but then I highlighted, do not manage your trades aggressively or impulsively. Wait for 1 hour candlestick to close to make your judgment. So that's when I developed that rule for to manage your trades, you have to wait for the candlestick to fully close.
Oh yeah, I get it now. I get it.
Right. So right. And then obvious, we now took close to 2% loss per pair that day. Hence, we will no longer take any trades for that day. And then the following day, 17, because this one was what, 16, eh? So now go to 17 January. Start afresh. 17 Jan, trading state, it was 8. So here I was in a good state of mind. GPJPY again, it was a long, risking 1%. It was bullish. There were news around 3:30. I entered this trade, I'm sure, before 3:30. So this was just for me to know there's news around 3:30. I have to be aware. Set up, I was still trading
Yeah.
uptrends, also just like where you are now. It was a go. Um, so you see, I carried that mistake which I made yesterday to where trade experience. Do not manage aggressively. Wait for the 1 hour to close. So, bro, a lot of things like which is here and the template is based on my experience. Based on when I'm trading, I'll be tweaking here, changing this, putting this, and then having data until now I know, okay, it has happened a lot of time. Now let me make it a permanent rule. So now I'm carrying over what I did yesterday. Do not manage aggressively. Wait for 1 hour to close. So now I'm reminding myself on this trade. I want to see. It's like I'm now forward testing. I want to see if I stick to waiting and then managing after, what will happen. But obviously you need like a lot of data to do that. Let's get 1%. Yes, I checked. It was under because it was a new day, right? So per day, now we have refreshed our daily low. So I'm still under because the first trade of the day. Okay, let's see what happened on this one. So JPY 17 now. We're now on this one daily, 4 hour, and 1 hour. So it's an uptrend. We see that support near our trend line now. Bullish uptrend. So this was a buy limit. Bullish engulfing. Signal. This is what I was saying. Signal. Ne? I'm talking about what? The candlesticks. The engulfing momentum, pin bar, hammers, or the inside bar. So in this case, it was what? The bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. The risk, I was still risking 0.1 to 1%. In this case, I took a 1%. Pip size, I was still calculating those ones, but now I no longer do this. Lot size, of course, it was 6. Maximum daily loss, it was under, because it was the first one contract, just like me, holding myself accountable. I accept the risk regardless of technical analysis. Just like I said, I accept the risk or loss regardless of technical analysis. Just like I said, trading, like technical analysis, just a higher probability of one thing happening over another, meaning anything can happen based off your technical analysis. You can have the best technical analysis, but then the market will, sometimes it won't respect it because you don't know what will happen, obviously. And then trade management. Enter this trade. Okay, it closed. I think I closed here early at this point. I closed here and the result, the market kept on pushing. I closed at the 1%, 1.1%. And then
Yeah.
trading error here. What do you think I did here wrong before we go to trading error? Initially,
You
look
closed
at this.
already?
Exactly. Look at this. Initially, this is what I planned, you know? You can see my raise,
Yeah.
my stop loss, and my TP.
Mm.
Ne? But then look what I did. I closed here instead of somewhere here. So,
Fear of
like
losing.
exactly, fear of losing man. This was the trading error which I did. Bro, I battled so much about this thing.
Yeah.
Thinking the market will just retrace and take my money away. Hence, I acted impulsively. One thing, you have to be honest with yourself. And I know that this is very hard for you to be honest with yourself when you make a mistake. You try to justify your actions, but then the truth is, yeah, I had fear of losing money. Hence, I acted impulsively and closed. However, the market is currently moving very unclear. Thus, focus on bigger time frames. So this was just me trying to justify my actions. But then,
That
truly
was just
speaking,
the next. Yeah.
but truly speaking, bro, I had fear of losing money, hence I just decided to close here. I thought the market was gonna reverse, and then hence instead of having a 1s2, it was a 1s to what? It was a 1s2. Didn't I write the risk to what? Yeah,
Not 1 is to 3.
yeah, probably a 1s to 3. Then I ended up taking 1%. I'm
Yeah, so
sure this
basically, you were focusing on the money and not the process.
and not the process. And in most cases, when you have this fear, bro, fear of losing money, fear of leaving money. I don't know why I wrote fear of losing money. It's fear of leaving money on the table. If you try to avoid this fear, you'll end up doing the same. Because instead of me having a 1s to 3, I ended up having a 1s to 1.1.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the same day, 17, we took another trade. I think. Okay, we're left with 3 minutes, and I want to introduce the other one because all these three journals, they are like simultaneously. You have to be recording all of them. Okay.
Okay.
Again, took another trade on 17. Okay, let me finish this one. Same one, the one which I cut my winner short. Manual close. I am clearly not in my in my ideal state of mind in terms of like my psychology, cutting, letting winners run. So now I just wrote it here as a note to myself. And then these fears, ne? Did I have fear of being wrong? No. Fear of missing out? No. Fear of leaving money on the table? You can see it's red. Clearly, I had it here. And fear of losing money? Also, here it was a yes. The market is currently moving. Okay, this was me trying to justify myself. So you can see here, I violated these two fears here. And then the same day again, I took another entry. This case it was a USD trade. One, yeah, my state of mind was 9. And then short, meaning it was a sell, risking 1%. Market was what? Bearish. There were no news at this point. It was a downtrend. It was a go, 1s to 3. Okay, same thing. Do not manage trade aggressively, just like I said, 1%. We still earn because it was the second setup of the day. Let's see on the trading tool, how did it work out? Ish, this thing. I left with 2 minutes. Okay, this is the trade USDT 17, the daily, 4 hour, and the 1 hour. So it was a downtrend, this support with this resistance here. So I entered here with a sell limit, I'm sure. Yeah, it was a sell limit, bearish engulfing. Based on this one, this is the bearish engulfing. What else do we need here? No, nothing much. And then trade management. So this is what happened. So the trade triggered me in, and then it went to like to profit. So I decided to move my stop loss to break even here. But then look what I did.
Close.
I closed the trade. And then I closed the trade where? Did I close on initial TP? Okay, initial TP was here. 1s to 3. Let's see. Did I make 1s to 3? No. I left one. I left like some. You see, because the profit here I got 2.1, 2.1 instead of 3K. Meaning I closed before my TP. I think I closed somewhere here. Yeah, I think I closed somewhere here instead of waiting for 1s to 3 here. And right after I closed, I think I closed because of this retracement. You see this one? Yeah, somewhere here. I
Yeah,
think I
I see
closed.
this one.
And then right after it closed, the market went crashing down. Like it went crashing down. Again, fear of leaving money on the table. So, bro, I knew I have this fear, but then I kept on doing it over and over and over again.
So it takes experience basically to get
So
over.
which year was this? 2022.
Yeah, this was 2022.
Oh.
Yeah. And then again, yeah, when I